There is no enough that is enough. Your enough can only be enough when God becomes the center of your attention. The words of Reverend Father EUSTACE SIAME. There are many of us who take pride in material possessions. We think that our value is measured by the things we possess. So we strive hard to possess more. Even when we get more, we are still not satisfied. And when we don't get more, we are still not satisfied. But in a sermon by Reverend Father EUSTACE SIAME, we are made to understand that the measure of a man's value does not lie in the things that he possesses, rather in the God that he has. Because you can live without material things, but you cannot live without God. So your value is measured by the amount of faith you have in the Almighty God. Now let us hear from the man of God.
Today, Jesus is busy telling people how to reach heaven, teaching them. If you go to the beginning of chapter 11 that we read from, Jesus is telling them, do not fear human beings. I'll tell you whom to fear. Fear God who can take your soul and body to hell. And do not be afraid of anything. God takes care of sparrows. He will take care of you. He takes care of things that are not even important. You are very special. He will take care of you. While Jesus was speaking such important message to the people, somebody raised his hand and diverted the attention of Jesus. Master, help my brother to share the property that our parents left. They have died, and now my brother is saying I won't get anything. Jesus clearly understands that this man doesn't know what he has been talking about. He has been telling people to focus on God, and this man is focusing on property. Just like many of us. You know, we may be in church here, but our minds are all over. We are focusing on many things that we have left at home, and we are worried about too many things. Worried about our property, worried about whether I'll get employment, worried about so many things. Jesus wants to say, you know, first focus on your dad. Focus on your father, and everything else will flow. Learn to depend on God, not on yourselves. So he tells a parable. He said, you know what? There was somebody who worked very hard. He worked very hard to get something in his life. And after he had worked hard, even not focusing on his family, putting all his attention on the work, saying, I will relax when I acquire enough. You know that there is no enough that is enough. There will never be a moment when you get what you call enough. Even when you acquire a phone, you get Galaxy S22 with 5G network, you will still want Galaxy S22 Ultra. And no, I want a phone which has a better camera. Did you buy a phone or you bought a camera? Nothing is never enough. So there will never be a moment when you say, I have had enough, now I can relax. No. You will always be looking for more. But there is a moment when you can say, now I have enough, when you find your rest in God. When God becomes the center of your attention. That time you say, I have enough. This is exactly what Jesus told that woman at the well in chapter 4 of the Gospel of John. Whoever drinks this water will thirsty again. But the one who will drink the water that I shall give will never thirst. That person will never thirst. The thirst will be dealt with. And Jesus wants to help the disciples, because he is now away from this man. Man, who made me a judge or divider over you? And he said to them, not to him. No, he turned to the disciples who were listening to the word. Take heed. Take heed and beware of all covetousness. For a man's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions. We have been mistaken to think that our status will improve, our value will improve when we have better cars. Our value will improve when I drive a Jeep, and when that Jeep gets destroyed, I cease to be the person I thought I was. You look at people, some people I know, not you, no, those who are not here. Some people I know measure their worth by the kind of people they associate themselves with. You know, I know that priest, that minister, that whatever. I know him. Okay, if you stop knowing him, will you stop being a human being? Is your value measured by the kind of people you associate yourself with, or by the kind of God you worship? This is what should make me boast, not in the things I have, but in the person I have, Jesus Christ. That will never be taken away from me. That is what Martha was told, you know. Mary has chosen a better path, and it will never be taken away from her. Service may be taken away from you. When you retire, you start feeling useless because you thought your value was in the work you had. Martha, I suppose, must have felt very useless after the going away of Jesus, but Mary did not, because her value was in listening to Jesus. The first reading of today tells us about the preacher, as he is called. The preacher here, Ecclesiastes, wants to bring back the people to their own faith. And so he says, you know, you may treasure the things you have, but everything is vanity. You labor, you work very hard, but somebody else will come and eat your sweat. So why should you then think of that as something that is giving you value? Only God can give you value. He will say it. He will say, remember the Lord your God, your creator, in the days of your youth. That's why the second reading of today says, if you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things that are above, so that even when you lose something that is below, you will not suffer. People suffer because of the attachment they have to the things that are here. I lose my phone and I think the whole world has fallen on me. I saw one young man who committed suicide for losing a phone. This is the world we have, where people don't know where the value lies. Our value doesn't lie in the things we have. Our value lies in the God we have.